Welcome back to week 3. So week 1 we talked about posture, week 2 we talked about grip. Any comments, any thoughts on how you've been getting on would be wonderful. Hopefully it's not been too stressful. Golf is very stressful, to pre-warn you. It takes quite a lot of time, quite a lot of practice, but you've probably hit a couple of really good shots that you've enjoyed, and that is why you are back. So today we're talking about the backswing, what the body, what the club needs to do on the way back. Now we're talking basic, we're talking beginners, we're talking about just getting back into golf. We're not talking technical, we're not going for like these people that are off of single figure handicaps. This is for beginners that just want to start building a golf swing. So to build a golf swing, we have our fundamentals, which we are going through these 5 weeks. And then what happens is you start having a golf swing. Okay, so it doesn't matter what it looks like to start off with, but we are basically trying to get something that's repeatable. And then what happens is you might add something to it to make it a little bit better. And then when you add something to it, something else happens. But what we're actually trying to do over a period of time is get it better and better and better. But you've got to start with something. So before all of you people out there that are really good golfers and you think that's a load of rubbish, this is purely for people that are just getting into golf, or people that are really confused and there's too much going on in their head and that is just basic stuff. So please give me a break. Week 1 we talked about how you grip the club. Week 2 we talked about your posture and how you stand with the club and to the ball. Week 3 is we're going to talk about your backswing, what we do on the way back. So we've got our posture really nice and solid, we've got our back nice and straight, or as straight as possibly can. So from this position I see kind of 2 main things that happen. I see one of which is people are told they need to kind of really turn and swing, and what they end up doing is they end up kind of swinging into here. So their arms do a lot and they feel like, right, I've done a big turn, but their arms are so stuck behind them they kind of got nowhere to go. So they end up doing a lot of weird stuff with their body. So that's option 1. And then option 2 is kind of the absolute opposite way, is they kind of go, don't want to go in there, so I'm going to just swing to the top of my swing. And all they do is kind of take the club straight up with their arms. Now, if you take a club straight up, you're going to come straight back down usually. That downward blow or hit it means that we end up kind of taking quite a lot of a divot, which is basically a massive chunk of ground, which potentially can hurt, which we do not want. So what we're actually trying to do is a bit of both. So what we're trying to use is bigger muscles. If we can use our bums, if we can use our core, if we can use our body and let our arms follow, that will be absolutely perfect. So we're going to do it in 2 different stages. So stage 1 is once we've got our setup right, we're going to try and get to there. And so this position is, let's say, halfway back. We've kind of turned your body halfway. We're kind of keeping an eye on the ball. The club is what we class as parallel with your feet, but your arms and body have worked as one unit to get there instead of there. So you might feel that you're kind of turning your body, rotating your body and your hips to get there. What we don't want to do is turn everything, otherwise it wobbles. So goal 1, or section 1, part 1, whatever you want to class it as, can we get your body to turn to there? Now, by us turning to there, what's happened is we've turned our hips lovely. We've actually started using our top half of our body, but our arms haven't done a lot to start off with, so they're not flapping around. So we're trying to get this really solid base from here, and then basically repeat it the opposite way. So we're going to try and get from here, hit the ball to this position. So can you, for the first part of your practice session, is literally get to there, hit the ball, get to there. Now you could literally do this in the back garden, as long as you haven't got a spaniel like I have. You could literally do this in front of a mirror, in front of a set of patios. You could video this and you would see everything that you're doing. So stage 1 is just literally that first half of your swing, trying to get your bigger muscles working, not your arms. Can you try and do that before you do anything else? Now part 2 kind of depends on part one, but it also depends on mobility. So if you have any issues with your hip, with your lower back, with your knees, shoulders, that's something you need to consider. It will affect your golf swing. But what we're going to try and get you to do is, we've done this for you, a bit of practice. So we've turned your body, followed it through. Now what we're going to try and do is gradually get from there, and then we're going to go straight up with your arms. So we've done the body turn, and then we go straight up. Body turn, straight up. Might pull on your body a little bit. My back's just tweaked, which is good. But yeah, it'll feel very different. Please rehearse it. Please kind of practice it in front of something so you can see it, because what actually feels like's going on sometimes is nothing like what's going on. So video it, practice it, then hit some balls and see how you get on. So like we said, it's just kind of from this position, feel that we just turn everything to, let's say, hip height. So the hips have turned, the top half has turned. If you notice, my head isn't moving massively. It's not kind of going with it. We're literally trying to get your shoulders and your hips to turn halfway. And then from that position, we're going to try and get back to the ball and then through. Back to the ball, through. So we've done our turn, we've used our shoulders, we've got our club kind of still a good distance away from us, we've not crept it in, our hips have turned, our bum has moved, which is wonderful. So from this position we were just talking about trying to get the arms to go up. So what you'll notice now is the club kind of goes straight up, the shoulder goes under my chin, but nothing else moves. So we've done the big move at the start. Stage one or section one, whatever you want to class it as, that's the big move. And then from there, arms up. So our hips are still turned. Our weight is a little bit more on our back foot, but we're not swaying, trying to get that position. Like I said, it should potentially pull. It really does pull a lot. But the golf swing is not normal. The golf swing isn't like anything else. So be prepared for some aches and pains. Be prepared that it's not going to feel comfortable. Be prepared that comfortable might not be correct. But hopefully that gives you an insight of that's what your backswing wants to look like, or start to look like, or somewhere near there. So there is something we need to add to this backswing thought, okay? And what you'll get is people, when they first start, like I said, is this action of either that or somewhere in between, because potentially they've been told that they need to keep their front arm, their left arm straight. So right, if I need to keep my left arm straight, it needs to go around there, or I need to keep my left arm straight, it needs to go around there. The left arm, or lead arm, what we sometimes might call it, being straight, is, yes, it's quite important, but again, it depends if you've got any neck issues, if you've got any shoulder issues, because if you have got an issue there, it's a lot harder to keep your arm straight. So that is why when we talk about keeping that lead arm or left arm straight, the body has got to be moving for us to keep it straight. Because if the body doesn't move and we just flap our arms around, the arms have got nowhere to go, so that is why they end up having to bend. So if you don't get stage one correct, moving your body, we're really going to struggle with stage two. So please, if you struggle with getting the club up to there, keep going through the first stage. This might take you a few weeks, it might take you a few months, but get that first bit right first and then add to it. This isn't a race, hopefully not anyway. Hopefully you've got to play in the biggest competition of your life next week, but golf is hard. Golf takes a lot of practice, so get practicing better. So that's us almost done for week 3, talking about backswing. Backswing and follow through are kind of massive in terms of movement, because they are that short period of time from the way back all the way through. Now, if you YouTubed it, if you spoke to 10 different coaches, we'd all have our own different opinions on it. But like I said, this is purely for if you're a beginner getting into it, or if you are really unsure and you just want to go through fundamentals again. For me, your bigger muscles got to turn, so your body's got to turn, and your arms have got to move as well. So that's why I kind of like seeing that as a good basis to start off with. So I hope you enjoyed it. If there is anything that you think of when you're practicing, if you could add it to the comments. If you want to message me, you're more than welcome to. But like I said, if you haven't subscribed, if you can, that'd be wonderful, because obviously you'll see all the other videos coming through. If you could tell your friends, share it, would be wonderful, because the more people we can get playing and enjoying it, then we have done our job. So thank you ever so much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Bye bye.